Welcome back to the Immortal Hulk, right here at Comicstorian, your home for audio dramas read by an amateur. When we last left off with the Immortal Hulk at issue 16, Hulk had come back from the dead after being killed all the way back in the Civil War II event. But this version of the Hulk was a revived version of the Devil Hulk, and the nighttime was his time. Bruce Banner would come out during the day, and the Devil Hulk would come out at night. And this Hulk is a bit smarter than before, and his job is to protect Bruce Banner, because Bruce is tired of being beaten down and killed. If he is killed, the Devil Hulk comes back and takes over. He's been wandering around the world, being captured by a military facility, and he ended up behind the green door to meet up with the one below all. But he eventually decided that he would go visit Betty, his wife, and let her know that he was kind of alive. When he got out there, though, Betty was shot through the head and then went missing, revealing to Bruce Banner and Samson that it wasn't just the Hulk that couldn't die anymore. They decided to go to the military facility out in the desert that the Hulk had escaped from before to try and get some answers about what is going on with gamma-radiated individuals, only to discover that the military base was back in full function, and they hit the Hulk with some kind of weird UV ray at night, turning him back into Bruce Banner. But when they cornered him and tried to question him, we discovered that it wasn't Bruce Banner in control of that body right now. This is the Comicstorian channel, and right now we're covering the Immortal Hulk, a horror take on the Hulk, and it's a series that has been going on for a while here at the channel, so click the link down below for the full playlist. But today we're going to be covering issue 17, 18, and 19, continuing this story of a Hulk that cannot die. Burbank, the soldier chasing Bruce Banner through the military facility, asks where did he go. But the man inside of Bruce's head tries to look around to find something useful. He sees a display of gamma-charged bugs and he quickly smashes the glass. Burbank looks around the corner only to see the man that looks like Bruce grabbing a fistful of sand and throwing it in Burbank's eyes. The man asks, "How does it feel to have radioactive ants in your eyes, big shot?" "I thought really smarts, but not as much as..." The man then punches Burbank in the chin, crushing his own hand. And Burbank tells him, "Okay, the ants were a shock, but punching me in the face?" The man stumbles back, asking him, "What the heck are you even made out of?" Burbank points the gun at him, telling him, "Super tough plastic, courtesy of the CIA. I'm a cyborg, Bruce, and you're..." But the man interrupts, "I'm not Bruce." The man grabs Burbank's arm, twisting it, telling him, "My name is Joe." As Joe kneels Burbank in the groin, he asks, "Those aren't made of plastic, are they? Having fun yet? 'Cause I am." Over at the new Shadow Base, everyone begins to ask, who is Joe? And McGowan tells one of the operators to cross-check the old Ross files. Images start to appear on the monitor, and then they stop on the one gray-skinned Hulk. The operator then says that Banner once worked for a Las Vegas casino under the name Joe Fixit. His skin was gray at the time, but he was also vulnerable to sunlight back then. McGowan then asks if there's anything stopping Banner from going through a personality shift without hulking out. Isn't that against the rules? And 14 tells her, "If there's something that he's taught me, it's not to look at the rules." Back at the base, Joe runs towards the exit, but when he sees that it's blocked, he looks around for something else to use. Seeing his own reflection in the fish tank, he takes advantage to talk to the other personalities inside of himself, asking the Hulk, "How's my driving so far?" Yeah. "Well, you ain't the boss of me, Pally." He then notices something. The fish tank doesn't have a wall, and it leads to another office, one full of computers. He smashes his way through, and as he steps foot into the room, the solar emitters turn up their intensity. Joe begins to struggle, telling himself, "Okay, they're driving me out, but I just came to get the info that I needed. If there's one thing that Bruce wasn't, it was a hacker. Getting into this computer is going to be tricky. Unless..." He looks around at all of the sticky notes on the computer and the pencil next to the keyboard, and he grabs it, shading over the indentations of the previous user. After getting what looks like a username and a password, he types both of those in, asking, "How's that for Banner smarts?" A few moments pass, and as the computer screen begins to read, resetting, Burbank turns the corner, telling him, "You're done now. Too bad we couldn't play some more." Burbank opens fire, shooting Joe several times, and 14 tells him, "All right, get to work cutting him up." Burbank then turns his hand into a chainsaw, kneeling down beside Joe. But Joe tells him, Wait a second," pushing Burbank's arm away. Burbank asks, "What is it? Why are you feeling stronger than before?" and Joe tightens his grip, throwing Burbank, telling him, I said, wait a second. Really? You're really gonna want to hear this. Joe gets up as blood is pouring out of him, telling him, it's kinda weird why Coach would put me in to take over this body. Why would he do that? I don't even like Banner. And now I get it. Banner's all about science and senses. Burbank changes his hand into a shotgun, telling Joe to stay back, and he fires the shells into Joe, but Joe just walks into them. Joe tells him, I'm having such a good time. I like using my head. I like to figure stuff out, like ways to hurt people. As Joe smiles, his eyes change from gray to green, and he points up at the emitters, telling him, you know, you can program these things from here. You know that, right? Those UV lights hurt. So what do? You turn up the dial. Funny story about that, though. Past visible light is ultraviolet. Tighten that wavelength, you get X-rays. And past that, you get gamma radiation. Joe begins to choke as his body is changing into the Hulk. And soon the Hulk begins to absorb Burbank. 14 begins to call out over the radio asking Burbank to respond. But the operator quickly says, oh God, the mountain, it's gone. And McGowan says that all that gamma radiation was absorbed. Guess it was released and 14 stops her asking, what of Subject B? Tell me it's ready. McGowan leads 14 back into the lab stating, well, after using Rick Jones' body, we managed to create a shell of gamma-activated tissue recovered from the corpse of Emil Blonsky. It woke up today, General, and it looked at us. You want to eliminate human error? Because trust me, there's nothing human in there. And in the test tube before them is a giant hulking abomination reaching out his hand. A short while later, at the remains of the shadow base, a hand reaches out of the ground and Samson pulls himself out, telling them, here we go again, climbing out of the ground. But as he stands up, a voice calls out to him, telling him, excuse me. Samson looks up and Walter Legowski tells him, I'm with Gamma Flight. Could you, tell me what happened? Samson looks up and Walter Legowski tells him, Samson sighs, pointing behind him. Big guy went that way. 8 days later, Jackie heads to Betty's house to try and make sense of what actually happened. And Jackie looks around with her flashlight, telling herself that she's not sure what the detective thinks that she will find. No one will be able to tell them except that's when a voice says, smashed. Jackie gasps as she drops the flashlight and Betty crawls out in her harpy form, telling her, my life, myself, all of it, smashed by him and me. Betty sniffs the air, telling her, he's close. Hiding. He always hides. Who is he? But you saw, yes? Meanwhile, over at Reno, Joe Fixit sits down holding up a piece of paper, telling them, okay, here's what it looks like to me. The paper reads Banner form. That's Bruce and Joe Fixit. They can control Banner form. Hulk form is Devil Hulk, Savage/Child Hulk, and the currently missing or dormant Professor Hulk, and the Green Scar. Hulk stares at him through the reflection, and Joe says, I know, it's rules, it's structure. I hate it. But since I've been away for a while, it's time to start pulling my own weight. It can't always be the Hulk doing things. It can't be too chaotic. Not if we really want to end the world, Devil Hulk. Another thing is, what should I call you? Can't just be Hulk. There's too many Hulks. And Devil Hulk just seems like we're tempting fate here. We could start calling you But before he could finish, a scream can be heard coming from the outside. Over in the lobby, the giant creature from the second shadow base walks in holding a woman in his hands like mouth. The woman from behind the counter screams, and she begins to pray. But the Hulk bursts through, punching the creature away. The creature gets back up and it slowly crawls towards the Hulk, mumbling. Hulk stares, stating, I know exactly what you are. An abomination. Let me guess, Shadow Base sent you? That you and their Blonsky? They dig you up again? Or did they get someone else to be Abomination? The creature lunges, clawing at the Hulk's face, yelling, Hulk! Hulk grabs the creature by the arms, asking, what is it with you saying my name over and over again? Did they condition you? Program you? Or are you a machine? As the creature leans in, it opens up its hands that are covering its face, and it reveals 2 twisted faces. Hulk is taken aback, shouting, Rick Jones? Hulk steps back, shouting, Jones or not, I'm done playing nice. He winds up and punches, but the creature grabs Hulk with its face hands, and then suddenly, sploink, green ooze pours out of the creature's face, and then the Hulk pulls his arm back to see his arm is now melting away. Hulk shouts, asking, "Why? Why isn't this healing?" And the Rick faces ask him, "Help me! Kill me!" When suddenly it begins to vomit up more acid. But across the way, the woman escaping sees a group of men and she shouts, asking, "Are you cops? I need help! My friend was killed!" And one of the men tells her, "Easy, it's okay now. It's all good. We're handling it." And that's when the man puts a gun to her head, shooting her. He then radios back to Shadow Base, telling them, "Agent Hurst, civilian attempted evac, but the perimeter remains secure." Another voice calls out, "Agent Hurst, was it?" "Jackie McGee, Arizona Herald. I have some questions for you." The men all turn around and they see Betty and Jackie. "Killed her. Why?" Betty asks. The men open fire, but Betty in her harpy form lunges at them. And that's when Hurst shouts, "I was following orders!" And Betty rips his head off with her talons. Jackie yells for Betty, telling her to stop, but as the men beg to not be killed, Betty tears the second man in half, throwing his torso across the parking lot. The third shoots, shouting to get back. She's a monster! And she grabs him by the arm and the head. But before the man could finish his sentence, she squeezes down on his head, ripping it off his body. Jackie asks, "Why? Why did you kill them? All you had to do was take their guns away." And Betty looks down, telling her, "Yes, all dead now. No insignia, no markings, no rules. Mercenaries? Maybe. Not soldiers. Might have killed you." Jackie tells her, "Yeah, might. I'm only human. But this, having the power of a Hulk, you have the power not to do this, Betty." Betty looks down at her. "But this is me. And you watch. You follow. Question and judge. You want to know, but don't want to know. That's you." Betty then walks through the parking lot, and when she looks over, she sees the Hulk laying with both of his arms and his legs melted away by the Abomination's acid. Hulk says, "Hulk hurts! Hulk hurts!" Betty starts to sniff the air, telling him, "I know you in there. The boy man." Hulk asks, "Betty, Hulk heard voice. Heard Betty's voice. What is Betty doing?" Betty digs her talons into the Hulk's chest, and Hulk says, "Hulk hurts! Betty is red! Help, Hulk!" And she stabs her claws into his chest and begins to rip him open. He shouts, asking, "What is Betty doing? Help, Hulk!" And after clawing and digging, Betty pulls out his heart and she begins to eat it. The story is only going to keep going with no clear endings, just epic cliffhangers as we're going. And I hope you guys are enjoying this horror take on the Hulk. I intend to just keep going on a weekly to every other week basis with this storyline at this point. And when we catch all the way up, we're going to kick off the Red Hulk storyline from all the way back in the mid-2000s. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you do, please consider subscribing to our channel. We do audio dramas for your favorite comic books and video games and movies on a frequent basis, practically daily over here, and you can catch us easily by subscribing and turning on that bell for notifications. If you want to get early access to all of our videos, then consider going to our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where we give you a day, most of the time 3 days, early access to everything that we do here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for your continued support, watching this video, sticking around to the end, listening to me right now. What do you guys think of this so far? Do you like the Hulk when this, like, multiple personality, Joe Fixit, Immortal Hulk, Devil Hulk? What is going on? We don't even know. What do you think about Betty with the harpy form? For those wondering, Betty was changed into the harpy way back. I think it was the leader. It's an old storyline, and a lot of this Hulk storyline is deep diving. If you hadn't figured that out from Joe Fixit coming back and Harpy coming back. Either way, the story's amazing. One of the best comic books coming out right now. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time right here.